Looks like we're up. Let me check. Check audio. Looking good on Twitch. Just checking, making sure everything's good here. YouTube has the biggest delay, so just want to make sure this is all working. Looks like there's an issue. Hopefully I can fix that. Checking the vertical stream here. Yeah, I think we're good now. All right. Looks good. All right, testing audio on YouTube. Leave that open. All right, so we're going to start out today talking through some tweets I've been seeing, and then we'll go into some LinkedIn boardroom beatdowns. The first one, the first thing here is the idea is trying to provide some transparency and some feedback kind of among the software development community. The first web project that I made was a voting platform, and then others when I was 16. And there's a lot of newcomers and scammers in the software world, and I think the most important thing is being able to under-promise and over-deliver for clients. You know, I run a dev shop, and the game I'm building here is just for fun, you know, and I'm doing this because I want to show everyone what you can do and show like what's real and what's not of what's currently out there. So there's I'd like to start with this one first, which is an issue that Jerry Rig Everything, if you guys don't follow his channel, he has a YouTube channel where he does testing and teardowns, pretty much like toughness teardowns, mobile devices, things like that. If you know him, you know him. And I wanted to pull up a comment that I had on something he tweeted out. This was a while back, but it's very relevant. And so Jerry's tweet was, about a year ago, a local software company bid me $100,000 to $250,000 to create a custom manufacturing software for my wheelchair factory. For those of you who don't know, he to help with his wife's mobility and help people who aren't able to really get around certain terrain with a normal wheelchair. He came up with a electric wheelchair that's all terrain. Fast forward a year, they still aren't finished with the original scope of work and now want an additional $100,000 because they went over budget. I've already paid $150,000. What would you do in this situation? Unfortunately, this is a very common story. And so when I read this, I was immediately, kind of taken back. And, I think it's part of why some of these vibe code platforms have caught on as well is people really just want results and they want to understand what's going on. And especially when they're paying six figures to build something, it's really important that if you tell someone you can build something, that you maintain open communication. And I broke down a number of things that I call like good faith activities that we do, and I think are good practices in general. And so my take on it was discerning between incompetence and bad faith actors is almost impossible. Sometimes people get in over their heads saying they can build something they haven't before. This is a big reason my dev shop has practices such as detailed hourly logs, daily demos, etc., providing transparency and accountability to clients and partners. We're honest about our capabilities and have proactive good faith procedures that take us more time but do right by clients. You will not find that most of the time because the majority of the software dev industry is effectively some form of scam. If you don't see those proactive signals of good faith, then it is your right to put the pressure on them to shape up and finish the project within the budget or give you your money back. I think, this is something that similar situations I have brought in kind of much bigger deals than this, but similar situations where you kind of need like someone who's savvy, who knows what's going on, to help address the issue and negotiate between the client and the vendor. Ideally, situations don't escalate to that level, but I wish him the best on that. And I got some views on my comment. I was probably a little late to kind of seeing it. But again, this is why, it's so easy for people to, criticize. Specifically, in my comment, I'm not saying, oh, you got scammed, they're a bad place. It's more, with the information that he's providing, these are some of the things or signals you can look for to tell if these people were working in good faith and did actually apply themselves. Are they providing updates? Are they doing those sorts of things? Do you understand what everyone's focused on, what they're delivering? And there is complexity to software builds, but there's really no excuse for charging people money and they don't understand what's being delivered. So again, that was a big motivation for starting this channel was, look, I'm not going to be the best version of myself as a coder because I'm doing this all live and everything, and it's a lot more kind of pressure. But especially with AI dev tooling and things, I think it's very useful for people to see a practical application of what is the AI actually able to do. That goes into this next tweet. This Nader Debit, I think I'm saying that right. So this went kind of big on X, and something he said was that he wanted to see if Claude Opus 4.5, which is what we're using, could clone a functional billion-dollar SaaS product and make it at least 100 times cheaper. The first product that came to mind was Typeform because it's very popular, very expensive, and in theory, very simple. The result is OpenForm, a polished plus functional and open source Typeform clone at 100x less cost that can be set up and deployed in approximately 15 minutes. The agent building this ran for approximately 35 minutes. Here are the details, technique, and the code. Definitely give him props for sharing the code and providing some transparency there. But this is some of the stuff that I really get frustrated, and I try to stay off X, but there's a lot of things that are going on, or people posting about, that is effectively kind of, I'm not saying he's doing this, but there's misinformation, and it's very unhelpful for non-technical people to think, oh, well, this, I built this thing, you can click around it, therefore, this is ready to ship. I mean, there's so many other things in making a production system, whether it's security, operations, compatibility, that if you don't want to mislead users and mislead customers, especially on something that is effectively their entire sales pipeline. So things like Typeforms, businesses rely on this. I've relied on it before. I still rely on it. I have it on my on Insomnia Club, insomnia.club, my dev shop website. And anyways, I'll get into kind of where the disconnect is. So my comment was, the hard part is getting the JavaScript to work, which runs in the browser just like you're seeing here. Unless it's server-side rendered, then it's rendered on like Next.js or via Next.js through like a Vercel or other type of CDN deployment. The hard part is getting the JavaScript to work flawlessly across every OS/browser on desktop and mobile, right? Keeping in mind, you got to keep in mind there's nuance between desktop and mobiles, their operating systems, and their browser. Even if it's a Mac, the Safari desktop is going to behave, especially sizing, CSS, all these things are going to behave differently. And if it's open source, you need a team to triage breaking changes. What comes to mind is like you have somebody makes a Squarespace site, and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to use OpenForm instead of Typeform because it's cheaper or something. And they do a big launch, and then maybe they get on a newsletter, or they do a big ad campaign, and then all these people go there, and then the majority of the people maybe go there on like an Android phone, on a certain browser, and then there's been an operating system update or a browser update, and then it doesn't load, or there's like a header issue. And these are the kinds of things that, again, are very high risk when you have an existing product, which does it cost money? Yes, but what are you paying for exactly? And that's what I get to in the second sentence here, which is they don't pay for the features, they pay for the support that keeps the funnel breaking. And I saw some other people kind of retweeting this original one, or reposting, whatever they call it. And I just wanted to call out that, a lot of software, it's not the code that people are really paying for. They're paying for, an army of folks that are all compensated to be constantly monitoring different physical devices, not even not emulated isn't good enough for a production system like this. And they're keeping an eye on everything, and if something goes wrong, they're able to triage and fix it quickly without breaking a customer funnel. So that's what you're paying for. And I mean, if you can figure out how to do that cheaper, I certainly think so. I think it's just important that people are, that there's like a level of fluency in technology and understanding that, the code, the technology is not just the code. And every platform is different. The problems that Stripe has versus Slack, versus X versus Typeform, they've invested millions and millions of dollars and time, smart people figure out how do we optimize the delivery funnel so that nobody notices if something breaks, or if they have an issue, it gets taken care of in a timely manner. In the open source world, the thing that makes me not really bullish on this concept, at least in the short term, is just that with open source contributors, it's like, people can help out whenever they want, but that doesn't mean that the only way to get people to like jump on things and take care of them timely is you need to be paying for their time to do that. If you have like 1 million people maybe in that are going to maintain your open source, maybe you could cover it. But anyways, wrap it up on that one. So next one is boardroom beatdowns. I see so many interesting arguments on X, and they seem to all go a very similar direction, where someone will kind of question what someone's saying, and then nobody really engages because they're all, obviously open to work, and don't want to, maybe add fuel to the fire or have things go a certain way. I actually think it's better for people to just have an opinion, like what I'm doing here. If you say you're a thought leader, you do all these things, you should be on video, like talking about it, like show us. Kind of like how I'm just doing code here. Like I'm like, hey, like let's just hang out for a bit. Let's build a game together. And maybe you'll be like, oh man, this guy's terrible, or this guy's good. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're better, jump on and throw down. So this post was from, and it's not the post, it's the comment that I found really interesting. So it's posted by this guy, William. He said, I had an interesting thought. I realized that we literally may be the last generation of senior graphic designers. Not because design is disappearing, but because the role is changing faster than the title. For a long time, being a senior designer meant years of climbing the ladder. For example, a junior to mid to senior. That was driven by execution, software mastery, and output. That ladder is starting to collapse. Like I literally remember using Photoshop 1. AI didn't just speed up the work, it compressed the entire process. Things that once required multiple levels of designers can now happen in one pass with the right tools and direction. That doesn't make experience irrelevant, it makes execution-only experience less valuable on its own. I mean, not to pick it apart, I think the actual skill in execution, unless it's very, very simple and deterministic, it can matter. At least high level, I think, design and also technical architecture. But what's rising in its place is greater than thinking. So thinking is replacing doing. Taste, judgment, and direction. The ability to decide what should be made, why, and how it fits in a bigger system. That's why future roles won't look like old ones. We'll probably see titles like creative lead, design strategist, AI art director, visual systems designer. Roles centered on guiding ideas, not just producing assets. Senior graphic designer won't disappear overnight, but it won't be the destination it once was. Those of us here are now living through the transition. I see posts and flyers saying, looking for graphic designers. That's soon going to be over. So I've already adjusted my, all caps, resume, and you should too, if you want to be ahead of this curve. So the real question is, are we protecting the old ladder or learning how to lead without it? So the comment that I thought was worth talking about was from Miguel over at Production Club. I like their .club. I did Dot Club as well. So they're doing, Coachella, Carol G's, Chainsmokers. They're in AWS. They're in AI. They're a legit spot, a legit shop. So Miguel's comment was, you say design is not disappearing, but you have 5 roles in your signature. And none of them says designer. It says director, strategist, specialist, world builder, expert. For design to not disappear, first we need to love it, embrace it, and give it the public relevance that it has, because if we don't, who's going to? Also, what the hell is an AI creative director? Bars. Let's look at his response. Unfortunately, no one will, and not by choice, but by force. And that's coming from someone doing it over 15 years. It's very disappointing, trust me. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I'm also just genuine, and again, I kind of have that, I don't really want to add fuel to the fire thing, but I'm also genuinely like, what is an AI creative director? Maybe looking at his profile would help. It looks like the only experience here is like a New Jersey print shop. And it's like a lot of making physical print stuff. I mean, maybe for printing stuff out and putting it on a bottle, you could probably use AI for most of that. I don't know, but I think AI creative director could work for a print shop, but I hear where Miguel's coming from on like, this is how I look at it. AI is tooling just like it is with coding. And it's the same with design, right? It's the same with all the fields. How can you best leverage this tool and have it just be added to your tool belt so that you're more productive in what you do? An AI creative director, it's like, are you the creative director of like, you're not the creative director of the AI. Maybe you're like the head of teaching people how to use AI tools. That doesn't sound like AI creative director. AI creative director would be you're guiding the creative direction of the company. AI is kind of like throwing like Photoshop creative director or like printing creative director. I think I really agree with Miguel on this, that for design to not disappear, we need to actually have it lead the field, right? As opposed to, well, we're just going to use AI for that and end of story. Because that's just not the case. There's going to be, I think, a more and more, like a greater demand for actual creatives, people that do high-level design, and we're seeing this. I think you see a lot of people who are designers that make these experiences that become kind of like the standard, and all of a sudden those people are incredibly valued, and also very expensive. So, enough of the thought leader Thunderdome or the boardroom beatdowns. Let's move into, I'm going to do some updates on our game Wargrum. So Wargrum is a trading card game on the Cardano blockchain. You can go play it. You can mint the trading cards. The idea is it's effectively Magic the Gathering, but with all of the individual cards are NFTs. For now, they're on the Cardano blockchain because we're currently in the running for a grant with Project Catalyst, which is the Cardano Foundation. It's the group that runs the cryptocurrency Cardano, for the Fund 15. It's their 15th fund. to help help pay for us to add more features, get more developers on it, help market it, boost it, etc. But we have a fully working game right now. We have global real-time multiplayer. We have oh, I gotta fix the Netlify. Wow. Just saw that now. That would explain the postdog stuff. So we have real-time global multiplayer, infinite deck customization with our original 2 starter decks. I'll get it back up and play it here in the next stream. But it's basically just Magic the Gathering, but when you own the cards, you have them forever. So we got a really cool shout out from Phaser, which is the game engine we're working with, also for the Florida Man World game. And I'll show you here. So this was really fun to see. Got a big boost in users and players, and they have a really nice write up. So you can see some of the screenshots here. This is like when you're battling. This is managing the decks, our NFT integration, and then they linked out to our site. So just wanted to show some of the traffic here. I think it's like the last month? We got a nice boost. We need to do some more marketing and continue to grow it, but it's, pretty consistent. It's really cool to be getting this amount. We've had like 6,000 to 8,000 in a day before, but we've definitely been able to have sustained traffic. I can do like last year, you can see when we launched. Can't really show it with the view here. See if I can zoom out. But yeah, fits and starts 18,000 direct visitors, which is pretty good. 18,000. Should probably put some ads in the game. Probably be a good idea. Let's look at some of for fun, this is part of the game development process, is watching your session replays, people playing the game. You can see the camera's in the way here, but should be a bunch of newer ones. Yeah, you can see people going in here and playing for like 10 minutes. Some people play for hours. Just playing like the tutorial. So you can see the game loading up here. Play the tutorial. So you can see the cards loading up. This is really important, when you're building a game. PostHog is a great tool. Being able to look at your sessions, see how users are interacting with it. And learn from it, make changes. The tutorial works really well. Everyone I've seen use it, they play through a full game. We just need to continue to build the user base so that when they jump on, there's other people to play them. So there's some updates on Wargrum. So we went through some of the post hogs. It's pretty neat too to just see everyone from China to France, Prague, Australia, Canada, Germany, Vietnam, Canada. Lots of people going in and trying it out. Let's give it a try, wargrum.io. All right, let's get into some coding. Let's fix this this mobile styling. So I think the easiest way to do it would be to run the mobile bundle in Chrome, and then I'll show how you can use the dev tools to adjust the styling and things to get it looking exactly how we want. So let's tweak the CSS. Yeah, so things look pretty aligned when we're running it here. We definitely are going to change the placement of the controls. We need to fix the controls in the bar fight because they don't show up. So that looks fine. So let's do something basic first. Game fits the mobile version. Fine for now. This is probably going to be a really simple adjustment to just get the thing centered. I think we just have some CSS overriding it. Cascading style sheets, good old cascading away. On this simulator, looks like it's all just pretty much shifted to the right. Mostly out of screen on the right side. iOS safe area issue. So we're going to add some padding with the iOS specific CSS in the mobile controls CSS, which is also the container for the JavaScript bundle, which is running the phaser game. And we've updated all of our reference files, so when we need to run, even if we've shut down this this Claude instance, it will still it'll do everything it's supposed to correctly, unless it decides to take stupid pills, which does happen. Kill it out. Let's build it. New build is in there. Okay, interesting. So we flash. It flashes. This definitely fits a little better. If I was doing this, I'm trying to do this here on the fly. Probably better would be having it run on the phone and use the live Xcode debugger to tweak the CSS live, which should be able to do just in the files. Don't judge me for doing this. I might be doing this wrong. Okay, let me see if it'll let me like if I change it in here. It's not going to change it. I need like the live build folder. Something I didn't mention in the last stream was that this is running as a full mobile app. So this will be deployed to the App Store as an app with ads and everything. This isn't just getting it to run. Okay, let me try doing this. The web's, I thought I turned it on. I'm gonna do the web inspector with Safari to show the, can plug into the emulator console and then change the CSS live and tweak it to make it look how we want. Okay. Localhost. All right, we've got it. So we should be able to tweak sources. We're in, oh, that's different. Okay, yeah, it just bundles it a little different. So let's see if, yes, okay, it does do it, okay. So we have this game wrapper layout. We need this more fully centered and full. That's right, the canvas container. For those of you who maybe can't traverse the CSS as easily, something you can do, like if you don't know it, you can just take a screenshot. Sometimes this has gotten better, but you can take a screenshot and that can help too. For those of you who are just, just wanting to vibe games, rather than spend 10 years learning CSS. This is something that can sometimes work. Yeah, we do need a restart button, but we really need to get, we want the game view itself to take up the whole screen vertically. That's what I'm trying to say. Or the phaser game square between the controls needs to take up all vertical space on the phone, with the control buttons on the sides. Leave the aspect ratio of the game square. That might actually just do it for okay, so the canvas container padding, yeah, we need to make the height. The flex box is good. We need to make the height 100%, no padding. So remove the padding, that's good for the game. So the max width, equal width and height 100%. And basically, this is just basically forcing everything vertically to 100%. This might be overkill. loads so fast. So that broke the aspect ratio of the game. So we just need to maintain the aspect ratio. Actually, that might, I'm like blanking here. Let's just give it a chance. We'll give the AI a chance to figure it out. It's like a live coding interview. Okay, well that made it worse, but let's just fix it. Let me pull the dev stuff. So you go into dev, localhost, you go develop, and then pick your phone or whatever simulator you're on, and then pull up localhost, and then style sheets. What's weird is it, when it flashes on, controls look good, then something happens there. I wonder if that's a build step. Hang on. That's a better start. I think there's like a styling step issue, which actually may not be able to fix that just by adjusting CSS. Yeah, the phaser scale manage. Yeah, phaser is gonna battle with the CSS a little bit, so we have to be really careful. This is something to have in the reference files. But yeah, the scale fit with center both is resizing the parent. So we're gonna try turning that off. Adjusting the CSS wouldn't actually fix it, so that would just be a rabbit hole. Let's run the build. So we did have to redo the bundle. Still looks like phaser is overriding. May just remove that initial one. All right, phaser height controls width. Try a different approach. Scale height mode, which will bait scaling. At this point, this is really just battling, kind of just trying to get tweaking phaser to work, because it's not a mobile development framework. It's a web client framework. So this is just where it's mostly just elbow grease. You know what? Let me make sure I'm cleaning. Might be a leftover artifact. No. So this is something I can't really fix just changing the CSS live. It's the phaser config. We're trying to keep this 4:3 aspect ratio, which is like old school games. We're gonna go a little more hardcore here. Change the CSS. Oh. Disappointed. Let's stop it. Clean it, build it. All right, that definitely looks way worse, so we want to revert that. Now, let me try this. This is what I would suggest a non-technical person do as a next step. Oh, did they revert the CSS as well or no? Okay, good. Yeah. Next step is we're going to have AI review the phaser docs, specify for this version. We also want to specify that it reviews phaser docs, the relevant phaser docs, before making changes that could potentially break. So, add the necessary edits to the Claude files so that when these changes that require knowledge of the phaser library are needed, the full docs are used, the relevant docs, including reference to this version of phaser currently being used, are reviewed, and a plan is put together with explicit citations of the relevant phaser docs. Yeah, please, if you have feedback on the game itself or anything, I'd love to hear it. I had missed updating the ClaudeMD file, which is read on every time you prompt it. Every time a request is sent to the Claude APIs. We had changed the phaser version. We did not change it in the Claude file, which can create an issue. So we're adding the references here so that we don't miss that, and we can stay architecture level. And not chase our tails because the AI is undoing something because we put the wrong thing in the reference file. That's kind of the catch with the reference files. So we're making that more bulletproof right now. Okay, great. Yeah, we could try it again. Here's the image. The same. Okay, the game needs to take up the vertical space with in landscape mode for the attached picture. While maintaining an aspect ratio, and the controls and screens need to fit the phone. The phone screen. This is also where AI really struggles. This is a good example of it, where someone like me has to actually work in the front end, do actual coding, because it's not as great on like visual, like pixel perfect type things. So this is where you do need a senior person to go in, like a mechanic, and fix it up. So now you can see it's following a better process when it troubleshoots this issue. It says, it puts together a plan, it has a goal, make it fit. I'm going to reference the phaser docs, I'm going to put together a plan, I'm going to try it out. So now we're just modifying the canvas container, which seems like it could be better. I could just make these changes in the CSS, but it keeps closing every time I rerun the app. So we're going to rerun the build, clean. Rerun it. Okay. It looks, I think the aspect ratio is fixed, and it's the vertical space. Now we're having issues with the display and where the game is centered. So for reference, which one is it? It's yeah, so it's not the width is cut off. So the vertical got fixed. The vertical sizing was fixed, but the sides are cut off, and the controls the D-pad is should be like over next to the side of the phone. So let's see if it follows those better instructions in context. All right, we're going to affect the actual game CSS, canvas container. Again, it's not the phaser, I think it's the tags, the CSS tags. There's like a missing link between when the phaser object is loading and the original game canvas, which looks like basically perfect when it first loads. Why are you doing that? You know it should be canvas or landscape. Just stop and rerun. There we go. It still seems you're making adjustments to the initial screen. that flashes, or that first loads for a split second before the phaser game loads and the alignment issues occur. We need to not see the first screen. Ensure you're reviewing the phaser and capacitor docks and making changes. This is basically what dev is, just throwing human suffering at something until it works. There you go. He needs a review to understand what the scale manager is. Now you're thinking. This level of abstraction I'm just doing to try to keep this entertaining and rolling, but nothing can really, outdo reading the docs. What's really good is we're seeing, the console logs are coming in. We're getting the ad manager logs. We're saying car took damage, triggering nuclear explosion, etc. So we want it to grab the docs and vectorize it so that we have that context. Yeah, this is what we do at Insomnia Club, insomnia.club. If you have a game you want to build or a collab, we build all kinds of apps and custom websites, all that good stuff. Focus on more kind of complex builds as opposed to simple marketing stuff, but we can do that too. Just like a nice marketing webpage. Feel free to go there, fill out the type form, as it were. It's been really fun to see the engagement on this channel. Appreciate the viewers. Really appreciate being able to do this. It's a lot of fun. And it's been great to see the subscribers and everything. Please subscribe if this is interesting to you. It's really fun to see this grow so quickly with just a couple videos, so I'm going to keep doing this. So it reviewed the scale manager docs, which is good. Expand parent controls if phaser modifies the parent CSS. That's very important. We could have ripped through the docs and figured that out. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Then it puts together a plan and it reviews and it explains why, which is useful not only for holding it accountable to perform better, but also for you to understand how the system's working and to understand the docs. So it's you get a 2-for-1 deal there. So it's going to try this hypothesis out. You do the build. So we turned off expand parent, which was a phaser config. Phaser has a config file, which is in the parent where you instantiate the phaser object. So it should be an index mobile, which we have open. Did I? So again, visual controls flash on before a different set of controls shows up with the loaded phaser game. So we need to get rid of those initial controls. I need either a breakpoint I'm hoping it can figure it out. Otherwise it's a bit of a pain to debug that. Now we're going to do no center on game.js. I think we need to make sure that there's only one. Phaser's probably overriding the styling. That's probably what it is. Then we have to use the web inspector next. Let me, I don't even think I need to though, because I know, looks like when Phaser loads, it overrides the CSS of the controls. Verify there's only one mobile control. HTML that could be on the DOM. And let's not show anything until Phaser loads, except for a loading indicator. We do need a loading indicator. We can't have it just like sitting there. It's reading index prod, which is wrong. It needs to be reading the index mobile. All right, we're going to add a loading screen. Cool. All right, that's much better. See it loading. Game wrapper is hidden. I think, just thinking through, because I think it's easiest to keep, we want to keep Phaser containerized like this. It's okay to have, I don't think we want this to all just be one big Phaser thing. I think having basically the HTML, JavaScript controls not in the Phaser module itself will make our life easier, because then we just need to stream it commands. And the core bundle will stay simple as it should be. So need to let it know that that worked. Let's push changes. That worked to add the loading screen, not show the interstitial controls for Phaser changes, styling, push changes. All right. Let's start doing some manual tweaking. This is important to see. This is the limit of the AI. This is like as far as you can get. This is really important to see. So people say, oh, AI is going to replace all front end. It's like, well, why can't it do this basic thing? Right? Let's see. I might need to open up the phaser bundle to access this, but this is fine. Inline flex? No. Flex direction. Column? I think that's a little better. Column width 100%. I'm just going to be freestyling here, so don't judge me. I think the key is in here, though. Just deciding if I want to, I think we might want to mess with the controls first. Let's try column reverse. No. Extraction. Just revert. No, it doesn't do anything. Stretch. Justify content. Stretch. Center. Oh, okay. Horizontal. Oh. Don't want to. I don't think we want to like push it all the way over. No padding. Phaser doesn't account for it. Is that true though? If we had it, that's true. If we make it visible, no. Left panel. Just move. Justify content left. Doesn't seem like these are actually doing anything with it, which is not great. But we have the controls hooked up, which is good. Looks like it's calling a vibrate function, which we'll have to adjust. I'm not sure where that came from. One. Okay, so we've got the gap. Definitely want that bigger, by like 40. Need to be bigger though. Buttons need to be bigger. I think maybe we could do these auto. It's not, doesn't like that as much. Definitely want the width. Yeah, we want bigger buttons, so like and then a little shorter, make them a square. Looks a lot better. I think the gap is okay, yeah. So let's go in and make these changes. D-pad container. Oh, we're gonna change this to 900, 130 pixels, that looks better. Save that. Let's try block. Oh, I get it. Okay. Little border radius. So I think a little border is okay. I'm not super worried about that. D-pad containers on the inside. Well, let me just, yeah. We're going to drill into the actual, where the actual styling is. So you grab the, so you can see like where the containers are at and what's messing it up. So you click on target. You can see those spec'd out. They're inside control panel, left panel. Inside game wrapper. So I think we need to stretch game wrapper. That doesn't make a change. Let's try block. Line block. No, flex is definitely the way to go. Base reset. Box sizing. Border box, let's play around with that. Content box. Content box does seem like a better fit overall because the boxes aren't overlapping anymore, which is better. So let's change that. So border box, content box applies only to the elements content area. Border box includes the content padding and border. Simplified, border box is more simplified, so we'll just have to stick with that. All right, now that we understand kind of what's going on, we can specify, those of you who would want to use the AI, it looks like it's control panel, left panel, needs to actually be on the left, or the button is overlapping into it. So there's some overlap going on. Let's see if I can screenshot that. Oh, so, nope, not that. So control panel, left panel. It's overlapping under the phaser game box. Has the D-pad in it. It's overlapping under the game box. This needs to be far on the left. It's too close to the middle. Let's see if AI can do that. Yeah, the Flexbox is not constraining. Well, the D-pads are just overflowing. So before we push these into a build, we can just go in and change. We can just change them. So it's saying, let's go into control panel and try adding flex shrink. We'll see the updates happen live here. Flex shrink 0. Nothing there. Under width, go mid width 100 pixels. See index 10 position. So those didn't do anything meaningful, huh? It moved the button, the Z index just moved it above, but we don't just want it above. Padding would shift things a little bit. I don't really want to pad if we VH'd it. It looks a little better. Let's try to make this thing. Whatever it is. I just want to get the game bigger. There we go. So it's game. Oh, is phaser overriding on pixel size? So, or overriding size of the game to pixels instead of getting the aspect ratio to just fill the screen vertically. Div game. Is game in here? No. Oh, there it is. Height is 100%. 4:3 aspect ratio. What if we get rid of that? Nothing happens. Max width. Nothing happens. Padding. Style the parent element to control the parent size. So maybe the parent element is not. Maybe the parent element is making it think it's 100% and it's not. Oh, phaser, man. Once we get it working, it'll be good, but definitely fix some of the controls here. The parent container is just having, it's fighting me. But yeah, you can see it's a lot faster to test things just by modifying it directly instead of waiting for AI to make a change that doesn't work. Do we even need this control panel styling? Seems like the control panel. Do we even need the control panel? So the hypothesis here is to mess with canvas, which is what we were just kind of messing with. I've kind of messed a lot, so let's just kill this and clean it and start over here. Sure, we'll give that a try. So we're definitely centered better, but we still need the game to like fit the whole screen. So let's do some surgery. Phaser is really fighting me here. Canvas container. Let's make sure we're. So we're kind of stuck with game but it's in that container. It's not even, it's like it's not, it's either fitting or it's not recognizing. Huh. Salute. That's what we want. So we do want the game position fixed in the middle. Okay. This is exactly what we want. So game, okay, game fixed position. This is exactly how we want the game to look. But now the controls need to be on the sides of it. So these changes didn't help. I've updated position to fixed in game CSS. Now the game view is, I might remove the border. Probably want to remove the border from the game. This game canvas thing is annoying. I'll just remove it. Now the game view is how I want. Make the controls not be hidden underneath and sticking out on either side. There's a lot of light coming in. Can you shut this window? Yeah, I don't think that's gonna do it. Let's go back. We don't want to have to move it above, so that's my feedback. To like add that's, I don't know. That doesn't help either. So we don't want the Z index, which is what controls which layer is above another layer, or like the order of layers that are visual. Need to be on the sides of it and not have any overlap. The D-pad needs to be more left, and the rocket, etc. controls need to be more right. Is it really that hard? You can see there's stuff it just can't figure out. It's pretty basic. Now the game is position fixed. I need to position it for the center, leave space for controls. Now it wants to tweak. This looks dangerous, but we can try it out. I want to undo that z-index shenanigans in the relative position. That looks bad. Height, oh, game. So game wants to get rid of this. Top 0. Oh, come on. Bottom 0. Oops. We're gonna get rid of that border, or I already did. Left clamp. There we go. It's looking promising. So I'm not seeing the left controls. But the middle and the right are starting to look good. It removed and added back overflow hidden. I think this is better. Then we're keeping in mind we have this dead space down here for the control bar. I was thinking maybe block. No. Justify content. Maybe we could try justify items or left. No. Okay. This seems like an okay change. We'll rebuild it and then we'll tell it it fixed the right side perfectly and we just need to do the same for the left. We're making progress. Need to fix all this, but rocket, okay. Okay. Now the controls on the right are positioned correctly, but the D-pad didn't move to the left the way controls on the right moved to the right. And we can go into the debugger here and just, it's probably the left clamp. Push the panels to opposite edges with justify content, game wrapper. Let's try that. This is so much harder on camera. Game wrapper. Oh, it's in the main layout on the top with that one. Yeah, main layout. Flex direction. space between. Control panel, let's also make it fixed. That's not good. Left panel, left, maybe we just need to adjust, or left panel, whoops. We just need to adjust left panel. That looks like the change that actually works. Let's not do any of those others. We just need to adjust left panel. Leave flex. Space between didn't do anything. So we're going to go left panel, left, no, what did it recommend again? Just don't move it to the left, basically is what that means. But it wouldn't move unless I messed with the control panel. Border, right? Here are the border. Not that, 0, 0. That's fine. No. Left, no. Should be using VHs, not pixels, but what about border? Can I nudge it? No, that's just the border. Symbol. Absolute. Fixed. Let's look at the clamps. That was in game, right? Manage controls. So this seemed to do some good stuff. But absolute. Absolute. No. Fix is what got. Relative, no. Yeah, fix is exactly where we want it. Center. Doesn't matter. What if we adjust this? Maybe we need to just, maybe phaser can't see this guy. Control panel, left panel. Padding won't do it. Nothing's doing it. Are we accepting this one? I've been doing this for a while. Yeah, we're not. I don't think we are. Let me redo. Let's rebuild. Let's make sure I didn't make it any worse. And I'll probably just work on this offline. I'm sure it's not that exciting to watch here. All right. Well, we'll stop here for now. This whole thing is also not. I believe that is the dead space. No, it's not. Should be able to take up more space on the bottom of the phone. Play with that and see. Last thing. We can just get the whole game to just stretch out. Let's give this a try. Don't see that doing much. Height seemed to barely nudge it, and it says get rid of max height. Yeah, that doesn't do anything either. Cool. Well, I think this is useful to learn some of the limits of what the AI does, even if you really tune it in. And really, it's just going to be more CSS tweaking, getting it to load in. This is further complicated by Phaser having being bundled in along with this web view on top of it for the controls. But we can see the game running. Obviously, if I use my keyboard controls, it works. So you can see it runs really smooth on mobile, which is the most important thing. And that's good for today. Again, I'm the founder of Insomnia Club. If you've got any software projects or apps you'd be interested in building, feel free to reach out. Our website is insomnia.club. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.